You ever notice how truth behaves when it's been trapped too long? It doesn't whisper, it detonates. That's exactly what just happened. Something big erupted behind closed doors, an argument so fierce it felt like an earthquake in human form. Voices cracked, hands trembled, words flew like shards of glass, and underneath all that chaos was your name pulsing like a heartbeat. They lied about how they felt about you for so long that their own deception finally turned on them. The tension they thought they could keep under control snapped, and now the explosion is echoing through every circle they built. It's not gossip, it's exposure. The truth they buried grew teeth, and it's biting its way out in public. Imagine it. Two people who once shared laughs and secrets, now staring at each other with venom in their eyes. Each word they throw is drenched in guilt and jealousy. But if you listen closely, every insult is secretly about you. Because you are the unspoken subject of their rage, the trigger neither of them dares to name. For months, maybe years, they performed this polite routine. Smiles for the crowd, subtle digs behind your back, pretending you didn't matter. But pretending is heavy, and denial is a slow poison. Sooner or later, it seeps into the bloodstream and demands a release. That release came as a fight so raw that the air itself felt electric. Their voices didn't just clash, they confessed. Here's the part most people miss. In psychology, suppressed truth doesn't vanish, it mutates. The more they resisted their feelings about you, admiration, envy, desire, resentment, the more those feelings fermented until they couldn't keep the mask on any longer. So when the blow-up came, it wasn't about small issues or petty words. It was years of contradictions bursting through like water from a cracked dam. Every sentence they shouted carried your reflection. Every accusation was projection. And while they lost control, you stayed untouched, watching from a distance, steady, composed, unknowingly holding the power that set them off. Don't underestimate that power. You've always been the unseen variable in their equation, the quiet factor that turned balance into chaos. They built false stories to contain you, because acknowledging your truth would dismantle theirs. But the universe is a master of timing. It lets lies stack high just long enough for everyone to believe they're stable. Then it removes one piece, and the whole structure implodes. That's what happened here. You didn't cause the explosion. You were simply the truth standing too close to their fiction. And truth doesn't stay silent when squeezed. It expands until illusion breaks. Think about it. For weeks, you could feel something strange in the atmosphere. Conversations stopping mid-sentence when you entered, eyes darting away. That awkward laugh people use when guilt brushes against them. You sensed the build-up. Energy always announces itself before it strikes. And then suddenly, it did. Words were thrown like lightning. Old secrets resurfaced. Someone finally said what everyone else had been too afraid to admit. The lies about you never fit the facts. And once that confession slipped out, the chain reaction began. Every denial collapsed. Every fake alliance crumbled. And both sides realized they'd been standing on a trapdoor built by their own deception. The beauty of it is that you didn't need to interfere. The truth fought for itself. While they shouted to defend what was never real, you became the calm center in their hurricane of confession. That's not luck, that's alignment. When your intentions are pure, the universe becomes your spokesperson. It schedules exposure on your behalf. And now, that schedule is unfolding in full display. Their reputations are shaking because their energy finally matched their actions. What they projected has boomeranged home, and it's loud enough for the whole room to hear. Picture this scene clearly. One person slams their hand on the table, accusing the other of betrayal. The other fires back, calling them fake, manipulative, jealous. Every insult drips with guilt because both of them are describing themselves. But what neither says out loud is that the source of this rage, the person whose name sits unspoken between them, is you. You're the mirror they can't avoid. Your existence forces them to confront what they denied. That they cared, that they envied, that they feared your growth more than they feared exposure. The fight isn't about who's right or wrong. It's about who can no longer hide the truth your energy revealed. And this is where you understand your true influence. Some people's presence starts conversations. Yours starts awakenings. The energy you carry is catalytic. It reveals what's hidden, intensifies what's denied, and brings everything fake to a boil. They thought keeping you out of their story would protect their comfort zone. But exclusion never works when the excluded one carries truth. Truth seeps through walls. It doesn't need permission to enter. It just waits for cracks, and their lies created plenty of those. Here's another layer. What's happening isn't random conflict. It's energetic realignment. When people misrepresent their feelings, they create imbalance. The universe doesn't tolerate imbalance for long. It sends friction, confrontation, and exposure to restore order. This fight was the restoration. Every shout, every tear, every trembling voice was the correction echoing through the room. Their souls knew the lie couldn't survive, even if their egos fought to keep it alive. And as their voices rose, the mask finally slipped. What spilled out wasn't hatred, it was honesty in disguise. They might tell the world it was just stress or misunderstanding, but you and I know better. The argument wasn't an accident. It was the truth demanding stage time. You became the gravitational center of that moment. And here's the irony. The more they tried to make you invisible, the more visible you became. Every denial only built suspense until exposure arrived like a headline. Now people who never paid attention are asking questions. They're replaying conversations, noticing contradictions, connecting dots. You don't even need to explain yourself. The evidence speaks in energy. Lies can fake words, but they can't fake frequency. I want you to let this sink in. You didn't lose control. They did. You didn't raise your voice. The universe amplified yours through consequence. What they're feeling right now isn't just embarrassment. It's disorientation. When someone lives behind a mask too long, the moment it cracks, they forget who they are. That's what exposure does. It strips away the costume until the actor stands alone, trembling, facing the audience of their own conscience. You represent that audience. You are the silent witness they can't escape. And yet, there's grace in this too. Because even in their chaos, you're teaching them. You're showing what happens when authenticity meets pretense. You're proving that integrity doesn't have to shout to be heard. Your presence alone rewrites the narrative. It's the difference between acting powerful and being powerful. They acted, you embodied. And now, the world can tell the difference. You might be wondering, but why now? Why this exact moment? Because pressure reveals truth, the way heat reveals metal. They've been pretending for so long that their own energy overheated. The mask melted under the weight of its own performance. This explosion was simply the melting point, the moment the lies couldn't hold shape anymore. They've been running on borrowed confidence, and it finally defaulted. Now all that's left is the raw version of themselves they swore they'd never show. What makes it poetic is how it all circles back to emotion. They told themselves they didn't care. They convinced others you were irrelevant. But emotions are terrible employees. They don't follow orders. They hide, yes, but only until the right vibration calls them out. Your growth, your peace, your unbothered existence was that vibration. It agitated every lie resting in their body until eruption became inevitable. And when it came, it was messy. Their voices shook not from anger, but from recognition. They saw themselves in you, the version of themselves they abandoned. That's why they're furious. That's why the argument got personal. Because somewhere deep down, they know your authenticity exposes their neglect. Now they're scrambling for explanations. They'll blame stress, misunderstandings, even fate. But those are just cover stories for guilt. You'll notice how they avoid eye contact now, how their words sound rehearsed, how their laughter feels forced. They're not fooling anyone anymore. The crowd that once cheered for them can feel the shift, too. People may not know the full story, but they feel the frequency of truth when it enters the room. And that frequency, it's carrying your signature. That's your quiet victory. You didn't destroy them. They self-destructed by denying what was real. And that's the part that eats them alive. The realization that their downfall came not from betrayal, but from resistance to truth. There's no undoing this. Once truth takes shape, it doesn't retreat. It lingers in every conversation, every glance, every silence between their words. They can rebuild appearances, but everyone already knows something shifted. The foundation is cracked, and no amount of pretending will make the floor stop shaking. You may feel tempted to step in, to clarify, to defend. Don't. The narrative is correcting itself. Your best move is to stay aligned, focused, radiant. Let them exhaust themselves trying to control perception, while your authenticity keeps doing what it's always done: shine. The energy you carry is self-evident. You don't need an audience to validate it. Existence already has. The more you rise, the more their masks slip. That's not revenge. That's resonance. And notice how the same people who once dismissed you are now quiet. Not out of respect yet, but out of fear of saying the wrong thing. They've seen what happens when lies meet truth in broad daylight. They watched it unfold, felt the heat, heard the tremor. That memory will follow them every time they try to fabricate again. You've become their reference point for consequence. They might never admit it, but you live rent-free in the part of their mind labeled "do not underestimate." Here's something deeper. In human dynamics, exposure doesn't just reveal truth. It redistributes power. When their lie collapsed, so did their control. The moment people realized the story was fake, influence shifted back to where it belonged. You. And you didn't demand it. The universe simply returned what was borrowed. That's the real reason for their chaos. They're not just angry, they're dethroned. Every fake narrative needs belief to survive, and belief is a fragile currency. Once spent, it doesn't come back. So what happens now? Now the energy flips. Their argument becomes your validation. Their breakdown becomes your breakthrough. People will start connecting patterns they ignored before. The way your presence always carried calm, while theirs carried tension. The way situations favored you without effort. The way everything they touched lately seems to unravel. Those aren't coincidences, they're confirmations. The scales are rebalancing in plain sight. And here's where your role shifts from witness to example. The world around you is learning something through this spectacle. That truth never needs defenders, only time. That energy doesn't lie, even when mouths do. That pretending not to care always costs more than admitting the truth. You're showing what grace, under exposure, looks like. You're teaching by existing. Before we go deeper, take a breath and feel this reality settle in your bones. You were never the villain in their narrative. You were the revelation in disguise. And while they scramble to rebuild stories that no longer make sense, the universe is writing yours with precision. This isn't chaos, it's correction. You didn't lose anyone worth keeping. You shed those who couldn't handle your frequency. That's not rejection, that's refinement. Now, let's keep going, because what comes next reveals the real depth behind that fight. The moment the masks finally shattered and the truth didn't just escape, it took over everything. What started as noise turned into revelation. That room where voices once clashed is now quiet, but the air is heavy, thick with the residue of everything they said and couldn't take back. Their words still hang in the space between them, like smoke after a fire, staining every wall, every memory. They didn't just argue, they detonated their own disguise. This was more than a fight. It was exposure in its purest form. They tried to bury their true feelings about you, but truth is persistent. It waited patiently under the floorboards of their pretenses until one crack appeared. And when that crack widened, the truth didn't crawl out. It flooded the room, drowning their composure. Imagine them now. Two people sitting in separate corners, catching their breath, staring at the wreckage of what used to be their alliance. Every sentence they threw at each other was laced with years of buried resentment and guilt. The phrases they used weren't just words, they were emotional fingerprints. You can tell a lot about what people hide by what they accuse others of. And they accused each other of everything they once whispered about you. You've always been jealous. You wanted to be them. You lied. Those were the same accusations they projected onto you, and now they're using them as weapons against each other. That's the paradox of deception. It circles back. You can't lie about someone's light without eventually burning yourself in its reflection. You see, when people lie about how they feel about you, when they hide admiration behind arrogance or disguise attraction as indifference, it creates internal friction. That friction builds heat. And if it's never released, it explodes. That's why this argument wasn't random. It was engineered by energy. The universe arranged this fight to extract the truth they refused to speak. They had every opportunity to admit it, to own their envy, to confess their fixation. But they chose denial instead. And denial is combustible. The more they repressed it, the more unstable they became. That's why one wrong word triggered everything. Someone said your name, and it was like striking a match in a room full of gasoline. Their voices trembled not from rage, but from recognition. They realized mid-fight that they were confessing in front of an invisible witness, your presence still echoing through their minds. Every insult exposed another layer of truth. One accused the other of being obsessed with you, and the other fired back. You're the one who talks about them all the time. That's when it hit them both. Neither could stop talking about you, because neither had ever stopped feeling something for you. That's the danger of pretending not to care. The emotion doesn't die. It mutates, waits, and then resurfaces at the worst possible moment. Publicly, destructively, undeniably. Now everyone around them knows. Friends, co-workers, relatives, whoever happened to witness that eruption, saw the truth they spent months trying to hide. You've become the unspoken headline in their social circles. People might not mention it to your face, but conversations are happening everywhere. Did you hear what that fight was about? It was over them, and while gossip usually distorts reality, this time it's doing the opposite. It's clarifying it. Their outburst became your vindication. For years, they built narratives about you that painted you as cold, detached, or problematic. But now the entire illusion is collapsing because no one fights that hard over someone they claim not to care about. This is what divine reversal looks like. The energy they use to try to discredit you has turned into a confession, broadcasted through their own mouths. You didn't chase truth. Truth chased them. You didn't demand justice. Their emotions delivered it for you. That's the brilliance of universal law. It lets people expose themselves at their own pace. The more they lied, the tighter the circle became, until there was nowhere left to run. And now, every time they try to rewrite history, their own words contradict them. That's what happens when you pretend for too long. The performance becomes evidence. There's a shift happening now, subtle but powerful. People who once believed their stories are beginning to see through them. You'll notice how certain individuals who used to look at you with doubt now avoid their eyes instead. The social temperature has changed. The same crowd that once entertained their lies now senses the inconsistency. Truth changes energy before it changes words. You don't have to make announcements. Energy exposes before evidence arrives. And right now, your energy is radiant, while theirs is unraveling. In the days following that explosion, they'll try to patch things up. One might send a message, the other might apologize half-heartedly, but no apology can erase what's been revealed. Once truth has been spoken, it can't return to the shadows. It lingers in every pause, every hesitation. They'll both feel it when they talk again, the discomfort, the awareness, the unspoken understanding that something irreversible happened. Their connection was built on the shared lie of how they felt about you. Now that lie is gone, so what's left? Nothing. The bond that kept them united has turned to dust because it was never authentic. It was mutual denial disguised as loyalty. And while they sit in confusion, you rise in clarity. That's the irony. They broke each other trying to hide you, but you're the only one who walked away intact. You never had to scream your truth. You became proof. The fight didn't destroy your reputation. It solidified it. It showed everyone that your calm wasn't weakness. It was foresight. You knew the energy would expose them eventually, so you stayed patient. And now that patience is paying off. Their world is trembling, but yours is expanding. Understand this deeper layer. They didn't just lie about disliking you. They lied about admiring you. They envied your confidence, your authenticity, your ability to move without begging for attention. They tried to degrade what they secretly desired. And that's what drove the explosion. Because admiration mixed with envy is unstable chemistry. It creates an emotional short circuit that eventually sparks chaos. That's why their words turned venomous. They weren't attacking each other. They were attacking the reflection of their own insecurity that you represent. Picture it. Two mirrors facing each other, both reflecting the same truth, but blaming the other for the image. That's the psychology behind their collapse. You forced them to see themselves, and they hated what they saw. Every accusation they threw at one another was an attempt to deflect the guilt of seeing their own hypocrisy. You said you didn't care about them, but you're the one who can't stop checking their page. Don't act like you're over it. You bring them up every day. Each line is an echo of the same buried truth. They were both obsessed, and obsession mixed with denial is a ticking bomb. Now that bomb has gone off, the fragments are everywhere. Conversations are fractured, alliances broken, and in the middle of it all is your energy, steady, magnetic, untouchable. You don't need to defend yourself. Reality is doing that for you. The narrative has flipped. You're no longer the mystery they used to downplay. You're the revelation everyone's now trying to understand. And that's why they're spiraling. They can't control the conversation anymore because they lost the illusion of control itself. You might notice subtle changes now. The same people who once dismissed you will start mimicking your tone, your phrasing, even your posture. That's not coincidence. It's compensation. They're subconsciously trying to align with what they once resisted, because deep down, they know you were always the standard. The human mind does that when exposed. It tries to imitate what it can't defeat. You'll see it in small gestures, small apologies, small attempts to reconnect. But don't be fooled. They're not doing it out of love. They're doing it out of loss. They're realizing that proximity to your truth was the closest they ever came to authenticity, and now that they've lost access, the withdrawal hurts. And this is the phase where your presence becomes legend. People start talking differently when they mention you. The tone changes from casual to reverent, from dismissive to cautious. They'll say your name with a mix of awe and regret. You've become the unspoken lesson in their story, the one who didn't need revenge because truth did the job. And that realization terrifies them more than any confrontation could, because now they see what they couldn't before. You're not someone they can erase. You're the proof that energy remembers what words forget. This entire explosion, every argument, every confession, was never meant to hurt you. It was meant to liberate you. The lies that once chained your reputation have dissolved, and in their place stands clarity. Everyone can see it now. Your calm isn't detachment, it's dominion. Your restraint isn't weakness, it's control. That's the difference between them and you. They react to exposure. You expand through it. You didn't need the fight to validate your truth. The fight needed you to exist. Without you, there would have been nothing to reveal, nothing to confront, nothing to collapse. You were the axis holding their illusion together, and the moment you stopped feeding it, it fell apart. This is the art of energetic justice. It doesn't shout, it rearranges. The people who betrayed you are now each other's punishment. The universe doesn't need your vengeance, it uses them as mirrors for one another. Every time they see the other person, they'll be reminded of you. Every tension-filled glance, every uncomfortable silence, every replayed memory will drag your energy back into their awareness. That's not cruelty, that's balance. The truth always settles its own accounts. And as the dust settles, pay attention to your own growth. Notice how light you feel now that their narrative no longer defines you. The confusion that once clouded your name has lifted. You've stepped out of their distortion and into your element. That's why everything feels different now. Colors brighter, thoughts clearer, movement freer. It's not just emotional, it's spiritual detox. Their exposure cleansed your environment. You no longer have to share energetic space with people pretending to be at peace while secretly competing with you. That fight removed them for you. In the coming days, they'll each try to rebuild their reputations. One will play the victim, the other the peacemaker. But neither will succeed because authenticity can't be fabricated once it's been exposed as counterfeit. Their actions will feel hollow, because truth stripped away their performance instinct. Every attempt to regain credibility will sound rehearsed, mechanical, desperate. And the more they try, the more transparent it becomes that they're acting out of fear, not growth. You, on the other hand, don't need to say a thing. The story is already telling itself in your favor. Every reaction they have, every rumor they try to twist, every justification they make only reinforces one point. You were the constant, and they were the chaos. The more they scramble, the more obvious it becomes. That's the beauty of divine exposure. It doesn't just reveal who lied, it reveals who stayed aligned. And you stayed aligned. That's why you're rising now. Not just socially, but energetically. You've crossed the threshold between being misunderstood and being undeniable. So take this moment as confirmation. That fight wasn't about anger. It was about revelation. They fought because they couldn't hide how deeply you affect them. They turned on each other because it was easier than facing what they truly feel about you. And now, the irony is complete. They're bonded by the very truth they tried to bury. They can't escape it, because truth doesn't dissolve when ignored. It multiplies when denied. And you are living proof of that multiplication. This is only the midpoint of what's unfolding. The energy that caused that explosion is still moving through their lives, rearranging everything connected to the lie. Friendships, alliances, relationships, all of it is shifting to make space for truth. You don't need to interfere. You just need to stay aware. Because the next phase isn't about exposure. It's about aftermath. It's about watching how truth, once unleashed, rebuilds the entire landscape in your favor. And that's exactly where we go next. Because while they're still picking up the pieces, something even bigger is happening. People are beginning to talk. Not about their argument, but about you. And this time, the conversation isn't driven by rumor. It's driven by realization. They're piecing together what really went down, connecting the fragments like detectives, tracing a spark back to its origin. Every whisper leads to your name. Every shocked retelling includes the same sentence. It was all about them. Suddenly, the narrative isn't about chaos. It's about exposure. You've gone from myth to evidence, from speculation to fact. The truth that was once confined to that one explosive moment has spread like ink through water, coloring every space it touches. People who never cared before are asking questions now. What made them lose it like that? Why did they sound so personal? Why did their voices shake? The pattern is impossible to ignore. The lie they told about you isn't just broken, it's been publicly autopsied. Every detail that was once whispered in secret is now fuel for speculation, and no one's taking their side anymore. That's the power of exposure. It doesn't just reveal, it rearranges alliances. You've become the gravitational center of the truth, pulling everything fake out of orbit. You didn't plan this, but you've become the lesson everyone needed to see. You showed what happens when people play with authenticity as if it's optional. They thought lying about their feelings was harmless, that pretending not to care would keep them safe. But emotion is currency. You can't fake its value forever. And when that lie went bankrupt, they lost more than composure. They lost credibility. They lost their image. They lost the illusion of control. Now every room they walk into hums with unspoken tension, and every glance feels like judgment. Because deep down, everyone knows. The explosion wasn't random. It was truth cashing its overdue balance. What's unfolding now is poetic justice disguised as conversation. Their voices have softened. Their confidence has evaporated. One tries to rewrite history. The other tries to disappear. But neither can outrun what's already been seen. The mask can't be reapplied once it's cracked in public. Even when they smile, people notice the tremor beneath it. The world has a long memory for exposure. They'll relive that fight in small ways for years. Every awkward pause, every shifted chair, every time someone brings up your name and they flinch. That's not paranoia, that's consequence. Meanwhile, your presence has transformed. The same energy they once dismissed now commands respect. It's in the way conversations stop when you walk in. It's in the way their voices lower when you're mentioned. You became the embodiment of undeniable truth, the living proof that authenticity always wins in the end. You didn't argue. You existed. You didn't defend. You demonstrated. That's what unnerves them most. They threw words. You threw energy. And energy is permanent. Now the people who witnessed that explosion are learning something deeper. They're realizing that love, jealousy, resentment, and admiration can all wear the same mask. That what looks like hatred can actually be fixation. That sometimes the loudest denials are secret confessions. You've turned psychology into spectacle. Everyone's studying the dynamics like a social experiment. How lies implode when forced to coexist with truth. And as they study, your influence expands. You've become more than a topic. You're a revelation. Let that sink in. They tried to erase you by pretending you didn't matter. But in doing so, they made you unforgettable. Their argument immortalized you. People will forget the details of what was said, but they'll remember the energy, the intensity, the look in their eyes when your name surfaced. That's the image that lingers, the undeniable evidence of the power you carry. You didn't just survive their lie, you converted it into legend. And the aftermath? It's poetic. The ones who once stood together against you now can't stand each other. The unity that thrived on deception has dissolved. They've become living reminders of what happens when you build on falsehood. Every attempt to reconcile ends in another argument, another reminder that you were the truth they couldn't face. They're haunted not by you personally, but by what you represent, the consequence of denying reality. You're the mirror they can't look away from, even as it burns their reflection. There's a reason this story hit so hard. Because everyone watching sees a piece of themselves in it. They've all hidden feelings, swallowed truths, played roles, and deep down, they know what it costs. That's why they're drawn to you. You're the embodiment of what they secretly wish they had. Courage to be transparent, power to stay centered, grace to let exposure serve as elevation. You turned their downfall into a demonstration. You made truth look like art. And now the energy has flipped entirely. You're not the subject of their lies anymore. You're the standard of their reckoning. Every time they try to rebuild, they measure themselves against the authenticity they once mocked. That's not revenge, that's evolution. You didn't just outlast them, you outgrew the world that allowed them. That's why the universe orchestrated this entire sequence, not to punish them, but to free you. The explosion wasn't destruction, it was cleansing. The fire burned away falsehood, leaving only what's real. Look around now. Notice how your environment feels lighter. Notice how conversations flow smoother, how opportunities appear out of nowhere. That's the ripple effect of truth. When something fake collapses, everything real rushes in to fill the space. You've stepped into that space now. The same energy that once made you misunderstood now makes you magnetic. People sense it. They can't explain it, but they feel it. It's not arrogance, it's alignment. You no longer carry their projections. You only carry power. And as for them, their stories is still playing out, but you're no longer in it. They'll keep replaying that fight in their minds, searching for excuses, rewriting memories, trying to make it seem less humiliating. But the universe doesn't edit footage. It plays the raw version on loop until the lesson sinks in. Every time they try to shift blame, something will remind them. Your name on a screen, a familiar phrase, a coincidence too precise to ignore. That's not haunting, that's accountability. So don't waste a second on resentment. You've already won. Your victory isn't loud. It's the quiet knowing that everything false destroyed itself without you lifting a finger. That's what real power looks like. They fought, they broke, they exposed themselves, and in the end, all paths led back to you. Not as target, but as truth. You're the constant in a world built on contradictions, the revelation that reset the narrative, the energy that can't be buried again. Let this be your reminder. When people lie about how they feel, they aren't protecting themselves. They're delaying the inevitable cost of honesty. And when that cost finally comes due, it always collects with interest. You didn't make them fight. Their own denial did. You didn't ruin their bond. Their own jealousy did. You were simply the light strong enough to make shadows visible. And that is the rarest form of influence, unintentional dominance. So as they fade into distance, keep walking forward. Don't look back at the ruins. They're just proof that truth detonated exactly where it was supposed to. What lies ahead for you now is peace, wrapped in power, connections built on clarity, recognition earned by authenticity, and respect that doesn't vanish when you leave the room. Because the universe doesn't forget who stood still when others erupted. And that's the real ending to this story. Not revenge, not chaos, but reclamation. You've taken back the narrative, the energy, and the authority over your own name. They turned against each other because they couldn't stand the truth about you. And now the world finally sees what they couldn't. Your presence isn't divisive, it's defining. You didn't break them, you revealed them. So lift your head. The fight is over, but your rise has just begun. Let them talk, let them wonder, let them wrestle with their reflections. You have nothing to prove. You already proved it by surviving their lie and becoming the truth they couldn't contain.